This is Earl Purdy. Welcome to Facebook Live, A Course in Miracles. A Course in Miracles. And we're going to be talking about how your innocence can save your butt. How your innocence can allow you to have all the peace of God and the prosperity in your mind and abundance and everything that you've ever wanted from within you that can eventually be mirrored without you. But the key to getting rid of pain and suffering is getting in touch with your innocence and letting go of that guilt, and how we do that. So we're going to start off with a little music to get us in the right mood, and then we're going to dive into it. Welcome to A Course in Miracles. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. I'm not a victim of my mom. I'm not a victim of my pa. I'm not a victim of events or circumstance at all. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. I'm not a victim of the future, not a victim of the past, not a victim of anything that really doesn't last. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. Welcome to A Course in Miracles. I am Earl Raj Purdy. I want to welcome you, mighty companions, here on Facebook Live. That ain't no jive. We're going to get down and we're going to talk about the guiltless child of God. In the book is called The Guiltless Son of God. And we're going to continue on that on page 240 in the text. I'm not a victim of the North, I'm not a victim of the South, not a victim of anything except what comes out my mouth. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. Yes. Help me out now. Not a victim, not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. You don't have to believe these ideas. You don't have to accept these ideas. You don't have to welcome these ideas. Some of these ideas you may actively resist. Some of these ideas you may actively resist. Some of these ideas you may actively resist. Some of the ideas you may find hard to believe. Some of the ideas you may find hard to believe. Some of these ideas may startle you. Some of these ideas may startle you. We're not going to analyze the ideas. We're not going to analyze the ideas. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I'm glad to be here with you, mighty companions. I'm glad to be here with you. I'm so glad to be with you right now. Welcome to A Course in Miracles. I'm Earl Purdy. I call myself now the Truth Repetition Teacher, the Truth Remembering Teacher. So the Truth Remembering Teacher, TRT. TRT, the Truth Repetition Teacher. I've been teaching the Course in Miracles for 40 years. And after doing the Course in Miracles that long, I want to tell you that the key to the Course in Miracles is remembering what it's saying and hearing what it's saying. The power of the Course in Miracles does not come from sitting around debating what the Course in Miracles means. Either you're ready for the Course in Miracles right now, or you're not ready for the Course in Miracles right now. That's also been my observance in teaching many students. Some students, they're just not ready right now, so no matter what you say, it doesn't make any sense to them. Some people, even though it makes no sense to them, they just feel compelled to keep on studying and keep on focusing in on it no matter what. Those are the Course in Miracles students. They go beyond the resistance that their ego has, and they want to hear what it's saying. So as a truth repetition teacher, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this in plain language so we can hear what in the heck are we being told. And so let's start out. It's going to be the section in the Course in Miracles text, the Foundation for Inner Peace version. It's called the Guiltless Son of God. And what that means is the innocent child of God. You're the innocent child of love. And we're going to start off with paragraph 3. Paragraph 3. And paragraph 3 on page 240 in the text of A Course in Miracles, paragraph 3 starts off with the darkest of your hidden cornerstones. The darkest of your hidden cornerstones. The darkest of your hidden cornerstones. The darkest of your hidden cornerstones holds your belief in guilt from your awareness. So that means that there's a belief in guilt that you may not be aware of. A person can have a belief in guilt that they're not aware of. A person can have a belief in guilt that they're not aware of. You can have a belief in guilt that you're not aware of. What does it mean to have a belief in guilt that you're not aware of? It means you might have some guilt you don't know about. Because in that dark and secret place, what is that dark and secret place? The dark and secret place is where you have a belief in your guilt that you may not know about. So in that dark and secret place is also a realization. So what is that realization? There is a part of you that has a lot of guilt, because there's a part of you that knows that when you're not loving yourself, when you're not seeing yourself as innocent, when you're not seeing yourself as loved and lovable and loving, that when you're not seeing yourself as a child of God, a child of love, then you have betrayed yourself by condemning yourself to death. So do you know that the Course in Miracles is saying that you may not realize it, but there's a part of you that believes that whenever you're not loving yourself, whenever you're not seeing yourself as one with love, that you have condemned yourself to death. Now, what would be another example of condemning yourself to death? It would be believing that you die, that what you really are dies. And what you really are does not die. What you really are does not die, because what you really are is a spiritual being, an eternal spiritual being. That's what you really are. So what you really are does not die. Now, did the Course say that you know that you're betraying yourself? Does the Course in Miracles says, well, you know you're betraying yourself by seeing yourself as less than innocent and less than love? It says right here, no, you don't even suspect this murderous. But what kind of idea, insane idea, lies hidden in your mind? It says we don't even know that we have the murderous idea of condemning ourselves and not seeing ourselves as innocent and loved and lovable or guilty, and that we believe at some level that we betrayed ourselves by condemning ourselves to death. And how do you condemn yourself to death? You condemn yourself to death by seeing yourself as just a physical body and losing sight of the fact that you are a spiritual being. You condemn yourself to death by seeing yourself as separate from your Creator, by seeing yourself as separate from God. You condemn yourself to death by not seeing yourself as the innocent, beautiful, loved, loving being that you are. And the Course says you don't even suspect this murderous but insane idea lies hidden in your mind, because there's a part of you that is a part of you. Where do you think your pain comes from? Where do you think your unhappiness comes from? Where do you think sickness and lack comes from? That doesn't come from a part of you that's digging you. That's not coming from a part of you that's enjoying and loving you. All your pain and suffering isn't coming from God. It isn't coming from love. It's not coming from the part of you that thinks that you deserve the best. Any kind of suffering and pain that you're going through on any level is coming from the part of you that frankly can't stand you, that doesn't love you, that doesn't think that you deserve to be loved. And the Course in Miracles calls that part of us the ego, the false self. So the Course in Miracles says you have a part of you that has a destructive urge, and you have a part of you that you don't know about that causes your pain, that has such a destructive urge when it comes to you, that nothing short of your own crucifixion, nothing short of you crucifying yourself and causing yourself pain can ultimately satisfy it. Wow. Now, so the Course in Miracles is saying now, if you have some type of fear or pain or upset, then that means that that's a reflection of a part of you that believes that you're guilty, that you don't know about. And that there's a part of us that we don't know about that frankly doesn't like us and doesn't think we deserve to be loved, that's causing all the pain that we are experiencing in our lives. And we don't even suspect that we have this murderer inside of our own mind, that we don't know we have hired our own hitman that's out to get us. And so there's a part of you that believes that nothing short of your own crucifixion will satisfy it. There could be a part of you that believes that you deserve to suffer for something, but you don't know about it. And there's a part of you that doesn't know you as the unlimited child of God. The Course in Miracles says it does not know who the Son of God is because it's blind. So there's a part of you who doesn't really know who the child of God, the child of love really is. And you're the child of God. You're the child of love. But you don't know it if you're going through a lot of pain. It means that you're not aware of who you really are. And the Course in Miracles says there's a part of us called the ego that's been trained to believe that we are sinful and that we are guilty. I was taught by my religion when I was growing up that I was born in sin and that I was guilty. Just by the virtue of me being born, I was sinful and guilty. Not only that, I was taught the ridiculous thought that somehow or another I had killed God's son, because I was so because of that I was guilty and sinful, even though it supposedly happened 2,000 years or more before I was even born. So very early in my life, I was taught just by virtue of being born, I was flawed, I was sinful, I was guilty. Now, what I didn't know was that thought is creative, and that whatever you believe about yourself, whatever you accept as true, that's what you're going to manifest. That's what you're going to see in your life is your beliefs. So if you believe you're sinful and guilty and you deserve to be punished and that you deserve to go to hell or any other negative experience you believe that you deserve because you are so bad, then you're going to manifest that. You're going to create that, because we are creators who create with our thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs. That's what we experience. That's what we see. So there's a part of us, according to the Course in Miracles, called the ego, that believes that our natural state is to be guilty or bad or sinful. And then the Course in Miracles says, let that part of you see guiltlessness anywhere, and it will try to destroy it because it's afraid. So there's a part of me that bought into the belief that I was guilty and sinful. There may be a part of you that's bought into the idea that you're guilty and sinful or unloving in some way. So that part of you that believes that you are not good, that part of you that believes you are not loved, that part of you that believes you are not valuable. Maybe you learned it through a parent, maybe you learned it through the conditions when you were growing up, maybe you have these negative thoughts that you think about yourself all the time, so therefore you don't really love yourself the way that you should. That part of you, don't you know that part of you that believes that you don't deserve to be happy? Don't you know that that part of you will try to destroy any idea that you are innocent? That the part of you that thinks you're guilty will try to destroy any idea that you're innocent. The part of you that thinks you're guilty or sinful or bad will try to destroy that part of your own mind that thinks you are sinless and beautiful and holy. Did you hear what the Course says? Listen to me again. There's a part of you that you don't know about that frankly doesn't like you very much. It doesn't like you very much, but you're not aware of it. But you see the results of it. And the results of the part of your thinking that really doesn't like you is that you have a lot of pain in your relationships. You might have dissatisfaction in your job. You may have a lot of health issues, a lot of financial issues, or you're just generally depressed and unhappy about one thing or another. Where do you think that's coming from? That's coming from your thinking. But the Course says that you are not aware, you may not be aware of that part of you that frankly hates you, that doesn't like you. And that part of you that you're not aware of, that may believe in guilt and sin, A Course in Miracles says that part of you will try to attack you and destroy any thoughts of innocence that you have. As a matter of fact, you better not think you're beautiful and wonderful. You better not think you're magnificent and a treasure. There's a part of me that if I dare try to think that about myself, it would try to destroy that part of me that believed that. Because the part of you that doesn't like you, the part of you that doesn't love, the part of you that criticizes and judges and condemns, that part is afraid. It's doing that because it's afraid. People who try to destroy, hurt, or harm others are afraid. They are terrified. They are afraid. And so in chapter 13, section 2, paragraph 4 of the text in A Course in Miracles, it says, much of the fearful mind's strange behavior. The ego is the part of your mind that's full of fear. It's the part of your mind that thinks you're separate. The Course in Miracles calls that the ego. And do you know that it says much of the ego's strange behavior is directly attributed to its definition of guilt? So most people's strange behavior, the part of the mind that believes that you're sinful or guilty or bad, that you don't know about, its strange behavior is directly attributed to its definition of guilt. So to the person that thinks that they're guilty, to the person that believes in sin, to the person that believes that they are unloved and unlovable, to that person, the guiltless are guilty. In other words, the person that believes in anger, guilt, and sin, that person will say anybody who thinks that they're innocent and sinless and without sin, that's the guilty person. The fact that you can even consider the idea that you're not a sinner or bad or guilty, that then the person who believes in that, they're going to say that you're the guiltiest person of all. So the part of my mind that believes that I'm guilty, it will tell me that the mere fact, Earl, that you could even have the slightest idea that you were totally innocent makes you guilty. So that means a person who believes in anger, guilt, and attack, the Course in Miracles says that person is actually see people who don't fight and attack as their enemies. Because anybody who doesn't believe that they are guilty and sinful, anybody who doesn't value the guilty person's idea of salvation, they are in an excellent position to let it go. So how do you let your ego go? How do you let the part of you that doesn't love you go? How do you let the part of you that doesn't love you go? How do you let it go? You let that part of you that thinks you're guilty, you get rid of that part of you that thinks you're guilty by not attacking, stop attacking, stop arguing, stop attacking, stop attacking. If you stop attacking, you're going to let go of your guilt. If you stop attacking, you're going to let go of all of your pain. If you stop attacking, you're going to find that your abundance comes in your perception. If you stop attacking, your whole life will change. I don't care how justified that you feel in attacking everyone. I don't want to hear what you think somebody has done to you. If you want to let go of attack, Jack, you have got to stop doing the one thing that we call attack. Attack makes lack. Lack comes from attack. Listen to me. Lack comes from attack. Lack comes from attack. If you want to be broke, then keep on attacking and blaming and projecting on everyone around you. Just keep on doing that. So anybody that doesn't believe that attack is the answer, they have approached the darkest and deepest cornerstone in fear's foundation. And while while the part of a person that believes that they are guilty and deserve punishment, the part of the person that believes that now remember, what did I say earlier? A Course in Miracles says you are not aware that this self-hatred thought is in your mind. You may not be aware that you think you are guilty. So how do you know that you have a guilty thought? How do you know that you have the belief in a sinful thought in your mind? If you have these anger and sinful, guilty thoughts, then you see pain, you see attack, you see fear, you see lack, you see war, you see strife, you see racism. That's what you see if you have subconscious thoughts of guilt that you don't know about, Yeah, if you have some self-hatred that you don't know about, then you will say you're this innocent, really kind, wonderful person that always has crappy things happening to you. There's always something wrong. You always got some kind of drama, but you're the nicest person in the world. You wouldn't even hurt a fly. But all the time, all kinds of things are making you cry. Oh my. That means you have. That means you have some angry, guilty thoughts that you need to let go of. Yes, you don't have to believe these ideas. You don't have to accept these ideas. You don't have to welcome these ideas. Some of these ideas that I share with you, you may actively resist. So don't even bother writing me to think I'm going to defend anything that I'm saying. I'm telling you now, I'm not. I didn't write a Course in Miracles. It is my path. I'm willing to follow it. I'm willing to share with anybody else that's open to the Course in Miracles through me. But I didn't write it, so I don't defend it. Nope, because you can always just cut me off and turn it off and don't listen to me or never watch a class I do. That's all you have to do if you don't like what I say. It's okay. No harm, no foul. I'm cool with that. There will always be someone who loves you when you're true to yourself. I've never had a lack of love since I got into A Course in Miracles and started to practice it. People come in my life, people leave my life, but the Course in Miracles says that's normal for people to come into your life and you learn as much as you can from each other at the time and appear to separate. It's only the wrong mind that thinks every relationship is supposed to last a lifetime. You're not a failure in your relationships because they did not last a lifetime. You learned as much as you could from each other at that time. And so the Course in Miracles says to us, if you decide that you don't want to attack people, then it says that you are in an excellent position to let all your pain go, to let your ego go, to let your lack go. Then it says, they have approached the darkest and deepest cornerstone in the ego's foundation. And while the ego can withstand your raising all else to question, it guards this one secret with its life. So the ego's existence depends on keeping this one secret. It's a secret that I'm going to tell you about. So there's a secret. Do you know there's a secret thought that we must look upon? There's a secret thought, there's a secret idea that the Course in Miracles tells us that we must look upon. For the ego, the part of us that thinks we're separate from God, the part of us that thinks that we do not deserve love, that part of us cannot protect us against the truth. And in the presence of the truth, the ego is dispelled. So how do you dispel the ego? How do you dispel fear? How do you dispel anger? How do you dispel lack? How do you dispel everything that hurts you? The Course in Miracles says the truth. If you're willing to hear the truth will dispel any kind of fear. The truth dispels. The ego is dispelled by the truth. I say the ego, the fear, the anger, the separation is dispelled by joining. So, what do I need to tell you in the calm light of truth? What do I need to tell you in the calm light of truth? Well, in A Course in Miracles text, chapter 13, section 2, paragraph 5, it says, in the calm light of truth, let us recognize that you believe you have crucified God's Son. Now, I want you to think about what I'm saying right now. There are two ways to look at this. You are God's Son. You are the creation of God. You are the creation of love. And also, we know that in religion, Jesus has many times been identified as God's Son. So if you grew up in any type of fundamental religious household or area, if you were like me, I was told that somehow or another I had crucified the Son of God, that we had crucified the Son of God. But you are the child of God. So you want to make this personal. And so in the calm light of truth, let's recognize that there's a part of you, if you go through pain and suffering in any way, there's a part of you that believes you have crucified yourself. There's a part of you that believes you have crucified yourself, that you brought yourself a lot of pain, a lot of suffering in some areas of your life. So just recognize that. There's a part of me that if I learned through religion as a child, there's a part of me that believes that I've crucified God's Son. But on a personal level, the Course in Miracles is also saying we need to recognize that you believe that you have crucified yourself, that you have crucified yourself. Right now, if you're in a relationship that is hell on earth, that gives you no satisfaction or happiness whatsoever, you're crucifying yourself. If you're worrying about how you're going to pay your bills and you're terrified about being taken care of materially, you are crucifying yourself. If you're keeping yourself in some type of, you find yourself going through some type of pain all the time, that's a form of crucifying yourself. If you get up in the morning to go to work to a job you hate, that's a form of crucifying yourself. If you don't feel good about who you are crucifying yourself. So let us recognize that there's a part of you that believes that you have crucified yourself. Now, you haven't admitted to this terrible secret. What terrible secret? I haven't admitted to myself. I don't even want to admit to myself that there's a part of me that hates me and it feels like I'm not enough and that I don't deserve love. I haven't even admitted this terrible secret. Why haven't I admitted this terrible secret? That there's a part of me that doesn't like me very much if I'm full of pain and conflict and fear and unhappiness in my life. Admit that there's a part of you that doesn't like you very much if it keeps you in relationships that you know don't bring you any kind of peace. You're crucifying yourself. The Course says, and you would still wish to crucify the Son of God if you could find the Son of God. You could still wish to crucify yourself if you could really find yourself. If I could find, I don't like me. If I could find me, I'd kick the crap out of me. Yet the wish to crucify yourself, the wish to crucify somebody else, that wish is hidden your real self from you. So if you want to know why you don't know that part of you that's full of love, if you want to know why you haven't come in contact with that part of you that's strong and courageous and prosperous and happy, do you know that if you haven't gotten in touch with that part of yourself, I'll tell you why your real self, you don't see that real loving self because you have a wish to crucify and punish yourself if you feel guilty. The wish to punish yourself and to crucify yourself for things that you think you've done to make you feel guilty has hidden you from yourself because it's very fearful. And the truth is you're afraid to find yourself. The Course in Miracles says you're afraid to find the child of God. You are afraid to find yourself. Everybody wants to find themselves, but the Course in Miracles says, do you know what? You're afraid to find yourself. Because if you found yourself while you don't like yourself, you just crucify yourself. So you have handled this wish to kill yourself. How have you handled this wish to punish yourself? Do you know that the Course in Miracles says, well, the way that you handle the wish to punish yourself is by not knowing who you are. Because if I don't know who I am, then I don't know who to punish. So if I don't love myself and I want to hurt myself, then there's a part of me that really doesn't want to find myself because I'd hurt myself if I found myself. So how do I keep from hurting the self that I am because that's what I would do to it if I found myself. Well, I know what I'll do. I'll stop knowing who I really am, and I'll identify with something else. So you don't know who you are. You don't know who you are. You are the holy child of God. You are the holy child of God. You are the innocent mind of love. You are an innocent creation of the universe. You are a priceless treasure of the one creator. And if you don't love yourself, then you will try to crucify and hurt yourself. And if you find yourself, you would hurt yourself because you don't like yourself if you're going through a lot of pain and conflict in your life. So the Course in Miracles says, do you know how the person handles that? They handle that by not knowing who they are and identifying with something else. You are loved. You are loved. You are powerful. But you may be identifying yourself with a weak self. You may be identifying with a self that's just a physical body that seems to die. You may be identifying yourself as just a human being who just goes through so much stuff, so many trials, so many tribulations, broken into by periods in which it seemed like you have a great time. If you think you are a body, if you think you're just a person, if you think you are a body, if you think you're just a person, if you think you're just a gender, if you think you're just a man, if you think you're just a woman, or whatever the category that you describe yourself as being, if that's what you think you are, then you don't know yourself. If you think you're guilty, you don't know yourself. If you think you are less than brilliant and loving and loved, you don't know yourself. If you think you're anything other than a really loving, wonderful being, then you don't know yourself, because that's what you are. Love is what you are. The Course in Miracles says, teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love. Teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. Now, if you think that's a bunch of crap that I just said when I said teach only love because that's what you are, and you don't think you're loved, if you don't think you love, if you don't think you're loved, that means you have that unconscious thought of self-hatred that I was telling you about. And that unconscious thought of self-hatred is going to crucify you. It's going to attract you to the wrong mate. It's going to attract you to the wrong financial situation. It's going to attract you to the wrong perception of everything. If you feel resistance to me telling you that you are innocent and that you only deserve love, that is the part of you that's not you. Do you know that when you are not being your true loving self, what happens? The Course in Miracles says, you have projected guilt blindly and indiscriminately. You have projected guilt blindly and indiscriminately, but what you haven't done is you haven't uncovered the source of your guilt. You haven't uncovered the source of your fear. You haven't uncovered the source of your lack. You haven't uncovered the source of your sickness and unhappiness. If you're feeling any of these things, you haven't uncovered the cause of it. There's a part of you called the ego that thinks that you are guilty, that you have done something that you need to be punished for. How do you know that you have that part of your mind? If you feel fear, you have a part of the mind that hates you and that thinks that you are guilty. If you have lack and anger and sickness and unhappiness, A Course in Miracles says you have unconscious guilt. Guess what? That part of you that thinks that you're guilty or thinks that you're bad or thinks that you don't deserve to be happy, the Course says the ego does want to kill you. And if you identify with the part of you that hates you or doesn't love you, you will believe that you deserve to die, or that you don't deserve to be happy, or you don't deserve joy. So if there's any part of you that thinks you don't deserve to be happy for any reason, you are not being yourself. You don't remember yourself. Yourself, who you really are, is priceless. What you really are is a priceless treasure. What you really are is a priceless treasure. What you really are is a priceless treasure. Treasure. So if you think I'm a scam artist because I say you deserve love and you deserve to be treated right, then doesn't that sound like you might be insane? If you want to attack someone who's doing something for free and at no charge, then how can it be all about the money or some kind of scam? Because I'm not holding the gun to anybody's head saying that they got to pay me anything for you to listen to what I'm doing. And I teach and I share. This is what I do in the world. And all I'm saying to you is you deserve to be happy, and you deserve to have peace, and you deserve to be loved, and I'm the scam artist. So I'm crazy if I think you deserve to be happy. I'm a scam artist if I think you deserve to hear how wonderful you are. Doesn't that mean that, frankly, you're the one that's kind of crazy, that needs to have a little work done? So the next paragraph says, chapter 13, section 2, paragraph 6 says, I have said that the crucifixion is the symbol of the ego. So Jesus of A Course in Miracles says, crucifixion is the symbol of the fearful mind, what happens with the guilty mind. So, like even in the Bible, when guilty people were confronted with the real guiltlessness of God's Son, they did attempt to kill God's Son. And the reason why God's Son was crucified is because to say that you are guiltless and that you're a child of God is blasphemous to God. To the part of you that doesn't love you, to the part of you that thinks you are guilty, if you would dare tell that part of yourself that you're innocent and you don't deserve to be punished, then that part of you thinks that the guiltiest thing you could possibly say is that you're not guilty. You tell the average person who has a deep belief and a deep belief in their guilt, and you tell that person you're innocent, you tell that person there's no such thing as sin, and they are going to tell you you're being blasphemous. Someone who deals with the basic fundamental conservative interpretations of the Bible, they're going to tell you that if you say there is no sin and that you're not sinful or guilty, that you're being blasphemous to God. Because to that mind that believes in guilt, to the mind that believes in guilt and sin, that part of the mind actually thinks it is the one that's in control. In a sense, it thinks it is God. And for you to say that you are sinless, for you to say that you're innocent, for you to say that you are guiltless, that must be interpreted as the final guilt that fully justifies your death and justifies your murder. If you dare say you are not sinful, you are not guilty, you are innocent, you are loved, and you deserve love, and you say that to a person who believes that they are guilty and sinful and bad, and that it's important for them to believe that they're sinful and bad, then that person is going to tell you you are being blasphemous. And that is something that you should feel so guilty by even thinking you could be guiltless that you deserve to die. That should justify murder. Have a nice day. So, you don't yet understand that any fear you may experience in connection with the Course in Miracles stems ultimately from this interpretation. You may not, says right here in the book, it says, you do not understand. It says you don't understand. You don't understand. You don't understand. You don't understand what? That any fear you may be experiencing in connection with studying the Course in Miracles ultimately comes from this interpretation. What is the interpretation? If you believe that you are sinful or guilty, and the Course in Miracles is teaching that there is no such thing as sin, that we make mistakes, and mistakes are for correction. Yes, we can make mistakes, but we can't change our fundamental nature into something that God did not create. And God is love, and we are a creation of love, so our fundamental nature is love. God is sinless. God is guiltless. We are creation of God. So we would have to fundamentally be sinless and be guiltless, because it's impossible for a child not to have the characteristics of its parents. So if you are a child of God, you're a child of love. So therefore your nature is the same as God's nature. God is bigger than you, but you still have the same characteristics, which means you are a creator, you are innocent, you are sinless. But there's a part of you that's been taught by the world that you're not guilty and innocent, and maybe you have been criticized, judged, and condemned, and made to feel less than loved in your life. There may be a part of you that feels like you don't deserve to be loved. And if you feel that way, that part of you that feels like you don't deserve to be loved, that part of you is going to try to sabotage you and cause pain for you. And if someone tells you that you are innocent like I am, tells you that you are sinless and guiltless like I do, then that part of you that believes that you really are guilty and bad is going to tell you, I'm telling you the biggest, most guilty, the guiltiest thing and the worst thing that you could possibly believe is that you are sinless. Now, then the Course in Miracles says you are this ultimately loving spiritual being, but you are hiding from yourself by believing you're not that loving being. So when you're being angry and guilty and cruel and upset and projecting and blaming, the truth is you're not being yourself. And you know, a lot of times people would say that to me when I was growing up, if I was being, very angry or attacking, they said, you know what, you're not being yourself today. Have you ever had somebody tell you that you're not being yourself today? Well, that's the truth. If your life isn't working for you and you feel no joy, no peace, no love, and you're scared, guess what? You are not being yourself. You're not being yourself. You're not being yourself. That's why you're going through the changes that you're going through if you're going through changes right now. You're not being yourself. You're not being yourself. And if you are afraid of A Course in Miracles, A Course in Miracles says what's frightening you actually is that the Course in Miracles is constantly telling you that you are powerful, that you are innocent, that you are not a victim, that you are sinless and guiltless. And there's a part of you that believes by putting yourself down and seeing yourself as weak is somehow true humility. Because we've been taught that humility is self-debasement. So if you put yourself down, you are being humble. So that's why you are afraid of the Course in Miracles. So why would a person be afraid of the Course in Miracles? They're afraid of a Course in Miracles because it's saying such loving things. And A Course in Miracles teaches that there's very few things that frightened, guilty people are afraid of. There's nothing that guilty people are more afraid of than love, than somebody telling them that they are loved. So the more I think I'm not loved or loving, and the more you tell me I am innocent and I'm loved, it's going to make me feel afraid. So the Course in Miracles says, let me tell you exactly what the Course in Miracles is saying. Do you want to know exactly what the Course in Miracles is saying? The Course in Miracles is saying, it says in chapter 13 in the Course in Miracles text, section 2, paragraph 7, Foundation for Inner Peace version, it says, this Course in Miracles has explicitly stated that the goal of the Course in Miracles for you is happiness and peace. What is the goal of A Course in Miracles? What is the goal of studying A Course in Miracles? What is the purpose of A Course in Miracles? For you to achieve happiness and peace. Happiness and peace. A Course in Miracles wants you to experience happiness and peace. The Course in Miracles wants you to experience happiness and peace. The goal of studying this, the goal of my Facebook Lives, the goal of teaching, my goal for teaching the Course in Miracles is for people to achieve happiness and peace. Happiness and peace. Happiness and peace. That's the purpose of the Course in Miracles. But check this out. The goal of the Course in Miracles is to give you happiness and peace, but yet you are afraid of A Course in Miracles. And this applies to who this applies to. Everything I say applies to who it applies to. The Course in Miracles says you are afraid of the Course in Miracles, even though all the Course in Miracles says is that you deserve happiness and peace. You've been told again and again and again and again and again and again that the Course in Miracles will set you free. You've been told over and over and over and over and over and over again that the truth will set you free. You've been told over and over and over again that not attacking, not blaming, taking responsibility, seeing yourself as spirit and not guilty will set you free. You've been told again and again that the Course in Miracles will set you free. Yet you sometimes react to the Course in Miracles as if you thought the Course in Miracles was trying to imprison you. Sometimes you are like the Course in Miracles is trying to limit you in some way. Even though it keeps saying over and over again, I just want you to have happiness and peace. I just want you to be set free. But sometimes you react to the Course in Miracles like the Course in Miracles is the enemy. You don't study it when you know that you say you're going to study it, or you don't do your workbook lessons. You won't read it. You fight with it. The Course in Miracles says you're acting like the Course in Miracles is trying to hurt you. And all it's trying to do is give you happiness and peace. Show you how to have happiness and peace. Show you how to be set free. But the Course in Miracles says, but sometimes you act like the Course in Miracles is going to imprison you. You often dismiss the Course in Miracles more readily than you dismiss the world's way of thinking. You often dismiss the teachings of A Course in Miracles much more readily than you dismiss what your guilty way of thinking is telling you, or your angry way of thinking is telling you. To some extent then, you must believe. You must believe what? To some extent, you must believe that by not learning the Course in Miracles, you are protecting yourself. There's a part of you that believes that by not learning the Course in Miracles, you are protecting yourself. There's a part of you that believes if you don't learn the Course in Miracles, you will be a lot safer and better off if you don't learn the truth. Yet you sometimes react to the Course in Miracles as if it's trying to imprison you. You often dismiss the Course in Miracles more readily than you dismiss fear's thought system, the ego's thought system. To some extent, you must believe that by not learning the Course in Miracles, you are protecting yourself. And you don't realize that it is only your innocence that can protect you. You don't realize that it's only your guiltlessness that can protect you. It is only your guiltlessness that can protect you. It is only your innocence that can protect you. It is only remembering that you are innocent that can protect you. If you really want to be safe in this world, the police are not going to do it. Things that you do on the outside is not going to do it. You can't protect yourself here through things that you do on the external level in the world. It is your consciousness will protect you. I say your consciousness will protect you. Having a loving mind will protect you. Why is that true? Why is having an innocent mind, a guiltless mind, how is that going to protect you? Listen very carefully. I'm going to describe and tell you how that works. Listen very carefully. Your thoughts create your experience. Your thoughts create your experience. Your thought determines what you see. What you think determines what you experience. What you think determines what you experience. So if you think you're guilty, if you think you are sinful, if you think you're not enough, if you think you're insecure, if you think you're inadequate, you're going to produce that type of perception for yourself. You are going to produce something that perfectly reflects back to you that you are unworthy and guilty. Your thoughts are determining the way that you feel right now. It's coming from your thoughts. So if you have the thought of your guiltlessness, if you have the thought of your innocence, then the innocent mind does not believe that it deserves to suffer. An innocent mind doesn't believe that it deserves to suffer, so an innocent mind does not make lack or loneliness or sickness or unhappiness, because the truly innocent mind doesn't believe it deserves anything but joy and peace and satisfaction. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. Even if you don't believe it, listen to what I'm saying. So if you want to be safe, you want to tune into your innocence, your guiltlessness, and the idea of your innocence and your guiltlessness, especially if you were taught as soon as you were born and in your childhood that you were born sinful or that you were born in sin. If you were taught that that's what you are, then there's a core belief that you have that you deserve to be punished or that you might be punished. I was taught that I was going to go to hell because of my sinful nature, just by being virtue of being friggin' born. And so I've got to let go of that idea. It's a teaching. It's a teaching. And so it's a teaching. So your innocence will protect you. Only your innocence can protect you. Only your innocence can protect you. And so that is why you want to learn A Course in Miracles, because A Course in Miracles is going to teach you how to let go of anger, guilt, and grievances, the idea that you are not worthy. The Course in Miracles will remove all misperceptions that you have about who and what you are, but you have to be proactive about that. You have to use the ideas. You have to do your part. And the Spirit is only asking for a little bit of willingness. And that's what I'm here for, to help that process of letting go of that anger, guilt, and grievances. Now, don't forget to listen to this and watch this at least 4 times. And I'm going to do a quick recap in just a minute. As a full-time teacher of A Course in Miracles, I appreciate any donations that you feel led to make to support my teaching ministry. If you like to make a financial expression of appreciation and support, go to my website, www.earlpurdy.com, www.earlpurdy.com. If you like to use Venmo, my email address is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. That's Purdy, P-U-R-D-Y. That's right. Thank you so much. I thank you in advance for being the channel for what God wants to give me to continue to do what I need to do, because I love teaching. On Thursdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, I do hardcore Course in Miracles. That's especially for Course in Miracles students who know they are Course in Miracles students, and it is their path, who want to take advantage of my 40 years of doing A Course in Miracles. It's also, anybody can watch, and I'm glad for anybody to watch, but it's going to be especially geared toward people who are studying A Course in Miracles. That's Thursdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. It's on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook. If you like my page and follow my page, every time I come on live, you will be notified. So follow the page and like the page. Go to my website, earlpurdy.com. There are hundreds and hundreds of videos and audios that you can listen to for free. I also have hundreds of videos of my classes on YouTube. Every way that I can, I want to be helpful. I do A Course in Miracles Facebook Live at 1 o'clock p.m. on Sundays, Mountain Time, on the Earl Purdy page, which you're watching right now. I am available for one-on-one sessions of coaching and mentoring and advising to help you use this in your personal life to have the kind of peace that you want to have. I am here to support that. If you're open-minded and you're also willing to let me share with you my information from my 40 years of experience as a soul purpose astrologer and numerologist, I am happy to do that too. So I'm here to be truly helpful. That's why I'm on the planet. Yeah. So I'm so glad to have you here. So what did we hear today? What did we hear today? Well, what I really want to emphasize is this. The Course in Miracles says that you are the innocent child of God, but there's a part of you that doesn't know it. There's a part of you that doesn't know that you are innocent. There's a part of you that believes you're guilty. There's a part of you that believes you haven't given yourself the kind of life and love and happiness that you desire. There's a part of you that believes that you're crucifying yourself. Now, the Course in Miracles says you're not aware of that. So how do you know if you have those thoughts of guilt in your mind? If you see fear, anger, upset, if you experience fear, anger, upset, lack, sickness, unhappiness, a lack of fulfillment, then you have unconscious thoughts of guilt that you're not aware of. And you've been told that the way to handle that guilt is to punish yourself according to the Course. So there's a part of you, the Course says, that wants to do you in because it thinks you're not enough, that thinks you're not truly loving. And so there's another part of you, your real self. And your real self knows that you are innocent. Your real self knows that you are loving. Your real self knows that you are lovable. But there's a part of you, according to the Course, that thinks when you see yourself as innocent, when you see yourself as guiltless, to even think of doing that is blasphemous. That somehow you are horrible for you to even think that you are not guilty. Now, when I say you're not guilty, that doesn't mean you don't make mistakes, and that when you do make a mistake that it shouldn't be corrected. Do you understand that There's a part of you that believes that the Course in Miracles might be leading you astray in some way because it keeps telling you that you are more loved and you are more innocent than maybe you think you are. Or maybe you learn through your religion that if you see yourself as sinful, then that's the right thing to do. And to not see yourself as sinful is blasphemous to God. The Course in Miracles dares to say no loving God would crucify you, that you are an extension of God. God created you. So therefore, if you're guilty and sinful, then God would have to be guilty and sinful. Your creator is innocent and you are innocent. And the Course in Miracles also says that even though it keeps telling you that the goal of the Course in Miracles is happiness and peace, that there is a part of you that's afraid of it. Even though you've been told over and over again that the Course in Miracles and the truth will set you free, sometimes you react as if the Course in Miracles were trying to hurt you or crucify you in some way. Sometimes you dismiss what the Course in Miracles is saying. I'll share this and you'll dismiss it and go back to the way that the world taught you to think, which is basically that you are a guilty victim, that everybody's doing something to you, that you have no power, that you can't have the kind of experience you want. The Course in Miracles says that there's a part of you that may believe that not learning the Course protects you, that if you don't study this stuff, you'll be okay. There's a part of you that may believe that if you focus on what the Course in Miracles is saying, that it's going to hurt you in some way. So what is the one thing that the Course in Miracles says you don't realize? What is the one thing that the Course in Miracles says that you don't realize? A Course in Miracles says that you don't realize that it's only your innocence that can protect you. It's not all the things you do in the world that's going to protect you. Your 401k and your credit cards, your credit score is not going to protect you. What really protects you is a state of mind that knows it's innocent, a state of mind that knows that it's guiltless. That's why the Course in Miracles is here, to remove the blocks to love, to remove the blocks to your innocence, to remove the blocks to your wealth, to remove the blocks to your peace. Do you know that the Course in Miracles says that when you have peace of mind, you can hear the voice for God? When you have peace of mind, when you have peace of mind, when you know you're innocent, when you're not punishing and self-sabotaging yourself, you can hear the voice of love within yourself. Now, this is a curriculum. You're not going to bring yourself to the states of mind that I'm talking about just by listening to a recording or watching a video or analyzing. It's going to require you being proactive. You're learning the curriculum, using the ideas, and I'm here to help that. So nothing that I say is going to give you a completely changed mind without you doing the inner work yourself. And so the part of you that would keep you from doing the inner work, that would allow you to let go of anger, guilt, and grievances, that's called the ego. That's the part that wants to crucify you. So what part of you wants to crucify you? Well, the part of you that wants to crucify you is the part of you that doesn't think that you are as awesome as you can get. And you can get a copy of A Course in Miracles through Amazon and every major book outlet. I mean, you can get just Google A Course in Miracles where you can buy it, and you'll see it so many places you can get the course, and for as cheap as you can imagine. So I'm here to teach those and work with those who have made the decision that they want to let go of any unconscious beliefs that they have that might be blocking them. And again, how do you know if you have unconscious guilt that you don't know about, even though you think you don't have any guilt? Do you have fear? Do you go through anger? Do you sometimes feel like a victim? Do you experience pain, sickness? Do you sometimes go through loneliness? Are you having constant relationship issues, job issues? Then the Course in Miracles says these are all reflections of an unconscious guilt that comes from having a sense of separation from God, a sense of separation from love, a sense of separation from oneness. And I'm here to support you to the other side. So I'm going to complete by saying only your innocence can protect you. My innocence protects me. My innocence protects me. My innocence, say it with me. Say it for yourself right now. My innocence protects me. My innocence protects me. My innocence protects me. My innocence protects me. Your innocence protects you. 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 Now watch this and listen to it at least 4 times. Mighty companions, I always listen back to what I just taught because I need to learn it also. And then I look at all your comments. And I'm so glad that you know that I'm doing this live so you can interact with each other as well as with me. We are the mighty companions. We are the mighty companions. We are the proof that you are not alone on this journey. We're letting you know I am T-R-T, the truth remembering teacher. T-R-T, the truth repeating teacher. That's my job. That's what I do. And your innocence protects you, and I appreciate you. Woo. And if you appreciate what I do and you love it, hey, let me know. You know, people are writing in to criticize and judge what you do. But the people who love what you do, sometimes they forget that that's also wonderful to hear and know that you have their success, that you have their support. So sometimes you just have to ask for what you want. And I'm asking for your appreciation, and I'm giving you mine. I appreciate you so much. I love you so much. May the course be with you.